After going through Durkheim, we shall go to another functionalist sociologist, which is he's the most important, and let us say that people find him very difficult to understand. So, in this lecture, I have made Talcott Parsons explained his concepts very easily so that even a person with a basic understanding of sociology can find it very easy to grasp his concepts. So, first of all, as we see, always see, the time period which is important is 1940s and 1950s. Now, here first we shall go through the general concepts given by him. The first is the organismic analogy. Now, as human body works, just see this diagram. In a body, each organ has a unique function. Similarly, in a society, institutions have a unique function. All the bits, actually, all the organs essentially work together harmoniously. Similarly, all institutions work together harmoniously. Organs are interdependent, here institutions are interdependent. Has an identifiable boundary. Your lung is a lung, it is not heart. Similarly, society also has an identifiable boundary. The sum of the parts is greater, the sum is the greater than its parts. Uh, there is a value addition when all the parts of the body function together. Similar analogy can be drawn to a society. If they function, the organs function in a normal way, the body is healthy. Similarly, if the function of performed by the institutions are normal, then there will be a low rate of social problems. This is in line, the institutions performing positive function, this is in line with the basic premise of functionalism, which says that all the different components of a society function together in a harmonious way. Parsons sought to understand institutions by analyzing the positive functions they played in the maintenance of social order. He identified some of the positive function. These are as below. Institutions in a society like family, political system, these promote value consensus. Value consensus is one of the most important functions of social institutions. There is an agreement around shared values. This commitment to common values is the basis of order in society. Two of the most important values which work in a society are belief in work ethic and belief in meritocracy. He argued that both these were vital to modern society because a work ethic ensures people value working rather than being lazy, and meritocracy means people believe that hard work should be rewarded. Family is responsible for passing on the basic norms and values of our society. It provides early socialization. the stabilization of adult personalities, and when they face pressures, it acts as a stabilizing force. Education integrates individual into the wider society. People, it provides individuals with a sense of belonging. They study together, perform functions together, and this in turn provides identity to the wider society. Parsons even argued that the the education via teaching a shared common subjects enforces kind of norms and values which are common to across cultures, across regions. Now if you go through this, if you have gone through this, you will see that this is almost on the lines of what Durkheim told. Now comes the idea of functional prerequisites. Parsons believed that societies had certain functional prerequisites. These are the things that society needs in order to survive. Just like human beings need certain things to survive, so every society has to have certain things in order to function properly. For example, a society must produce and distribute resources such as food and shelter. There has to be some kind of organization that resolves conflicts and that socializes the young. According to Parsons, a social system has four needs that must be met for continued survival. This is the AGIL model. A stands for adaptation, G stands for goal attainment, I stands for integration, and L stands for latency. In advanced industrial societies, these needs are met through specialized subsystem. So therefore, if you see his general concept, these are organismic analogy. Then there will be institutions performing positive functions. Then there will be some functional prerequisites. These functional prerequisites are AGIL. Now we see in this infograph functional prerequisites and pattern variables. The functional prerequisites are A for adaptation. It is the economic part component of any social system. The ability to adapt economically is adaptation. It provides resources for the individuals who are the part and parcel of the society. It provides goal attainment. Goals are reached through decision making. This is the governance aspect of the social system. Via certain institutions like family and religion, chances of conflict are regulated, harmony is enforced. Via latency, certain individuals or groups who have beliefs, values to make the above work. For example, these give individuals latency, identity, motivation. You can see latency as the law. Now we will understand the pattern variables. Now, in the process of any society fulfilling these functions is based upon the social behaviors of cultures in society or the choices of behaviors. These are exhibited when AGIL functions are being performed. These behaviors can be affectivity or affective neutrality. You are giving, as a doctor, you are giving appointment to your relative and not to a commoner. This is when you are displaying effectivity. But if you treat them both at par, you are displaying affective neutrality, specificity, and diffusiveness. If I talk about the role of your teacher, then teacher is a teacher. If I say you have father who is also a teacher, so this will be a diffuse kind of role. Your father will be a guardian, teacher, father, and a lot of things for you. Another is universalism or particularism. Now, you may say that the rule which you have applied upon one individual applied to him only. Take the example of crime. The rules which you shall impose upon the criminal will be different from how you regard other members of the community or a nation. Then, ascription or achievement. Here you can see the person having achievement as a big thing or through the ascribed status due to birth. Then can be self orientation or collective orientation. This is self explanatory. So, while fulfilling these functional prerequisites, you can be, you can show these behaviors. One is affectivity or effective neutrality, then another is specificity and diffusiveness, other third is universality or particularism, fourth is achievement versus ascription, fifth is self oriented versus collective oriented. Now, how to remember this? SASUQ, QSAS. So you can do it like this, or you can make your own reference. So now, whenever you are solving any question for AGIL model, just keep these things in mind, what they do, what they stand for, and then just, if any social circumstance is given, put these values into that. For example, if you say university or industry, let us say the example of an industry, because institution and university, this will become just like easy for me. So industry, the production line and the wage and the accountancy will form the part of adaptation. The managerial role or the work schedule, the scheduling part of it will make the goal attainment. The laws, the common workplace, rules and regulations, these will form integration. Then apprenticeship, the mechanism, training section will form the part of latency. Individual versus society debate has run for long. Emile Durkheim gave emphasis on society. So did Parsons. Parsons says that needs of the society are coming before an individual. That means that society is given more importance in the work of Talcott Parsons. He is emphasizing the role of family, the role of education, because these are the institutions which pass on particular norms and values which bind people together in value consensus. His view on social change and social evolution. Parsons viewed social change as a process of social evolution from simple hunter gatherer societies to more complex forms of advanced industrial society. Now, this is in line with what Emile Durkheim says. He even says that more complex forms of societies are better because they are more adaptive. I mean, they have more resources, they have more institutions, they have more ways to interact with the environment or adapt towards it, they are more innovative, and they are based upon meritocracy. Like, they will raise the skill and merit of the people who are part of it, and then harness them these skills to be to a better level. This way they are able to survive more. If you see, look at it carefully, this is quite Darwinian. I mean, uh, he says that the Darwin hypothesis is survival of the fittest. So the individual, the institution which will be able to survive, or which will be able to change, adapt, gain achievement, will be more suited to adapt to the changed circumstances. He argued that initially economic and technological changes led to societies evolving, but increasingly values become the driving force behind social progress. At the initial onset, modernity and industrialization, economic and technological changes led to societies which evolved at an initial pace. But after some time, values were the main driving force behind such social progress. He even contended that the values of advanced industrial societies were superior to those of traditional. Now, reflecting back to Parsons' analysis of family and education, we can see that the reason he stresses the importance of these is because they are keeping together the most advanced society the best. If the family collapse, we may regress back to the more primitive form of social organization. Now, have a closer look at this diagram. So, here you see adaptation. First of all, just see the external environment, which is natural as well as social. An organism adapts in reaction to the external environment. Adaptation provides energy for environmental interactions. Adaptation, goal attainment is basically about personality system, self determination. Integration is about the social system, institutions of socialization and social control. Latency is more about tension management. So these are the human nature components. So you just like have a look at this diagram. This you can directly quote in the examination. Now have a closer look at this diagram. Now here is family, religion, education, economy, polity. So polity provides leadership and protection to family. Family in turn provides loyalty and compliance to polity. Family provides socialized children to education. Education provides teaching and acculturation. Economy provides goods, wages, and family provides labor company. Family provides faith to the religion, while religion provides morality and comfort. Now, this is the general thesis we have learnt about Parsons. Now, we go to his basic theses, the specific theories, and in those, initially, we will first see a general approach of Talcott Parson. We will see his theory on social action. Then we will see his theory on social system. We'll see the theory on pattern variables, and then we will see how he is being criticized by other sociologists. So therefore we start with the When we look at this, the general, uh, how this theory of Talcott Parsons developed. Now, initially, we should know that he was from America, and his main aim was to generate grand functional theories. Now, which are the disciplines from where he gathered his thoughts, and which were the disciplines which influenced him and his research? Now, his theory of social action borrows ideas from economic sociology, culturology, and psychology. He integrated he integrated French positivism with German idealism. Now, see, French positivism, Auguste Comte and Emile Durkheim. Emile Durkheim was from France. Even Auguste Comte was from France. So he integrated those theories with German idealism and British utilitarianism. And after synthesis of these approaches, he therefore he synthesized micro and macro view. Now, Max Weber is from the German school. British utilitarianism principle stands for generating an idea that maximum good for maximum number of people is to be done. Sociological perspectives should be aimed at that approach. So, in his introduction, you can just write that it was a synthesis of micro and macro view, and he integrated French positivism, German idealism, and British utilitarianism to develop his synthetic approach. Now, where did he took assistance from? So, initially, we have seen Malinowski and religion, W.H.R. Rivers. So, he took assistance from their work, which was about cultural system, and G.H. Mead, C.H. Cooley, whose work was on personality system. Now, how to establish order in the society? He rejected Hobbesian view and said that man is rational and calculating creature. This Hobbesian view is more about selfish nature of man. So therefore